Hello everyone, Andrew here, and welcome to Wii Week, or Week. We're not going to go there. This week we're going to be playing 4 games from the Wii, and doing a Wii review on Wednesday, so I hope that everyone enjoys that. Looking at the previous Nintendo console, although soon to be 2 generations old and almost 10 years old. It's crazy and super hard for me to believe. The Wii was a very neat console, definitely marked a big jump for Nintendo, not necessarily graphics-wise, but it was, you have a menu here, definitely not something you had with, like, the GameCube or anything like that, and you could download virtual console games and get channels for games like Mario Kart and Wii Fit. It was pretty cool. You could even do things like Netflix, you had Nintendo Channel, Check Me Out Channel. There was definitely a lot of fun to be had with the Wii, but today, we're playing some Super Paper Mario. It's a pretty awesome game. I absolutely loved it when it came out. It was awesome. It was that point in time when Nintendo remembered that it was, you can make 2D Mario games. Who would have thought? Because Mario had been 3D for quite a while. And before New Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo DS that came out in 2006, the last completely new Mario 2D side-scrolling platform before that was Mario Land 2 in 1992, so it took them 14 years to remember that Mario could be 2D, and then they finally, started making a whole bunch of games, including this, and then, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and then it kind of got out of hand, and now you have Mario Maker. But, wow, what am I even trying to say? Super Paper Mario is played with the controller held sideways, kind of like an NES controller. It's really neat. You get the D-pad with your left thumb, and the 1 and 2 buttons kind of act like A and B buttons with your right thumb. And just, yeah, I played the heck out of it as a kid. It's such a fun game. I actually joined in a Let's Play done by Milesluigi. I was actually going to do a random game of this many, I guess I say many years ago. I've only been doing my channel for almost 5 years, so it was probably about 3 years ago I was going to do one. And it was around that time I actually got invited to join in the second half of Milesluigi's Super Paper Mario Let's Play, so then of course I never ended up doing a random game of the day of it, but I figure it's been long enough since that I will finally get to doing one. But if you want to see the whole game, which, it's a pretty cool game, so if you don't feel like playing it yourself, I definitely recommend at least watching Milesluigi's Let's Play of it, which again, I do join in. I think it's Chapter 5 I joined in, and there will be links to that. But just for today, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to the game, maybe for people who haven't really played it, or maybe people who just want to hear me ramble on about Paper Mario. You can probably guess which game will be bashed in the very near future. But I started a new file just so that we could check out the beginning of the game with no score or / experience points. Got basic Mario here with absolutely no pixels. It's going to be totally crazy. And I haven't even entered the first world yet, just because I kind of wanted to leave the cutscene that plays when you enter it to emphasize that Paper Mario was awesome. Just the characters and the humor and the story. I mean, if you watch Milesluigi's Let's Play, you'll realize that Super Paper Mario does drag on a bit. And there's times when there's like mountains and mountains and mountains of text. But it felt really fulfilling to play and beat a Paper Mario game. Like, look at all those characters. That's more original characters in one picture than were in the entire game of Paper Mario Sticker Star. So don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Like, there's just nothing better than that picture that shows, characters in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, variety of characters in Paper Mario Sticker Star, and it's just different colored toads. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, you got Chunks, you got this, I could, go on all day about how much I love, the older Paper Mario games. And again, Super Paper Mario is different, but when Super Paper Mario came out, I understood that. I absolutely loved Paper Mario 1 and 2, and I said, it's okay. One little kind of spin-off game, or not even necessarily little, it's still a pretty epic game. And like, as you saw there, like 45 hours, I definitely really loved it when it first came out. I still love it today. This is not something I really went back and played again, because I joined in Milesluigi's Let's Play and didn't feel the need to after that. But it's just so awesome, and just to see, unfortunately, that the Paper Mario series does not value things like good story or like interesting characters and things like that anymore. It really is a shame. So, I mean, of course we have Color Splash coming out, and it does unfortunately mirror all too greatly, it seems, things that weren't, like, the best in Sticker Star, which really is a shame, but I guess, we can always go back and play the classics. But basically what I was trying to say is I acknowledge that, it was okay that they tried something different with Super Paper Mario, but I always hoped that with Paper Mario 4, they would go back to that formula from the first 2 games, and I've always, I kind of cry a little bit every night, just over the fact that they didn't. I cry a lot over a lot of the decisions that Nintendo has made as of late. But that's not, you know, the discussion of today. Let's enjoy what we're playing today. And we got Chunks, who's going to be chunking it up. You know, that's not something you would hear in a Paper Mario game today. It's like, chunk is like a bad word these days. Nintendo would never say such a thing. It's just like Mario, the most, you know, benevolent man in all the universe, does nothing but pick roses and have delightful conversation with his enemies, who we do not call enemies, because that is too mean, you know, bad of a word for a Nintendo game. We call them adversaries, because, you know, no 4-year-old will think bad of that word. But yes, yeah, so we have Mario, who once again has to save the world, except it's not always just about, you know, beating Bowser at the end. That's another thing. Mario games used to have some originality in them, where it seemed like, you know, up until the Nintendo 64 days, it was always just about beating Bowser. But then it seems like once you hit the GameCube, and it is interesting, the Super Paper Mario was actually originally going to be a GameCube game, so I've always kind of considered it falling into that, where it wasn't always just about beating Bowser, as you see in things like Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, and in this game, of course. And even in Mario Sunshine, I mean, it does kind of end up being Bowser, but they clearly tried to do something different there with the whole, you know, Mario going to jail and, you know, having to clean up the island. I thought that was really cool. But then as they kind of moved past that, now it seems to be back to it's always Bowser who's the bad guy again. And I absolutely hate that. They totally need to be more original. But yeah, basically what we got here is instead of partners in this Paper Mario game, you get pixels. And Tippy is kind of the main pixel. It's kind of like Goombario in the colorful butterfly form. And you can point at the screen and totally examine things. Yeah, it tells us what we need to do next, but yeah, it kind of looks like, you know, a side-scrolling Mario game right here. We got Goombas we can jump on, and you get points, and again, points at the top of the screen count as kind of the experience that we will use to gain levels. This is a mushroom, just in case you've never ever played Mario before. Like, there was hand-holding, but like, okay, you know, it's explained it now, it's never going to explain it again. It's not like Twilight Princess, where every single time you turn it on, it reminds you that a blue rupee is worth 5, but 10,000 points will get us to a level. You know, at least this game actually gives you a reason to fight enemies, unlike a certain other Paper Mario game, whose name shall not be mentioned. You can even do crazy stylish things. We got a door here which we cannot enter, and I'm sure that we'll probably never be able to enter it. It seems just like, you know, kind of a thing that the developers accidentally left in. By the way, it's all covered in blocks like that. And of course, just like in any good Paper Mario game, you got secrets all over the place. Such as shroom shakes, because you know, you get the normal mushrooms that come out of blocks, which you can't put them into your inventory. You kind of have to use them instantly. But then you get shroom shakes, which you can use anytime you feel like you're about to get destroyed. Just drink one of those, and you get 10 HP back. And we totally get a house here, but we're not gonna save. You can jump on the roof and get a card. Cards are kind of the crazy collectible thing in this game, and when you have an enemy's card, I believe you actually do double damage to them, so we got 1 out of 256. There's totally nothing significant about that number at all. But basically, we're looking for a guy here, and he's going to teach us how to do a crazy thing, which is totally not going to become like the staple of this entire game. Being forced to use it a bajillion million times to find crazy secrets. But basically, sometimes you can find secrets by pointing at the screen. Thankfully, my sensor bar is set up correctly, and there is a door, which we will now go into, and there'll be a crazy cutscene about a guy who's going to give us a new ability, and we don't even really need to read it because it can always summarize in like that one sentence. He's going to, you know, use some of that Paper Mario humor, which again, I just so greatly miss from Paper Mario games these days. It's quite sad. You must be the great hero impersonator. Haha. See, that was totally hilarious right there. I'm just falling off of my chair. But yeah, Super Paper Mario is a game I have such fond memories of as a kid. And again, because, you know, the whole 2D Paper Mario thing hadn't been totally overdone by this point. This was really the second side-scrolling platforming Mario game since New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. I was still really into it at that point. And it does have a lot of creativity in it, despite the fact that it does drag on. Especially if you go for like the post-game stuff, which I think it's a lot better to kind of do that on your own. It didn't really translate well into, you know, like this. Well, Milesluigi tried to stream it, but even then, you know, like the pits of 100 trials in Samurai's Kingdom, they do definitely get dry, and there's not too much to say about them after, like, you know, the first few of them. No, we're totally not paying you that. What are you totally saying? You know, he'll settle for all of the coins in our wallet, which I guess, you know, if we have to, we totally have to. We've totally paid this guy a bajillion dollars, and now he's going to teach us how to flip into 3D. So, of course, up to this point, it has been a 2D side-scrolling game, but this is where, you know, it becomes that thing Again, as I said, we're going to be using it a bajillion times. And we can now flip from 2D into 3D. And what is this A button that you speak of? Like, there was even, of course, fourth wall breaking. There wasn't, Paper Mario always had to have a little bit of that. And I do think that fourth wall breaking is a lot of fun when done correctly and not in excess. And Paper Mario used to do it very well. It is really silly, I always thought, though, that when you flip into 3D, kind of this whole staple of the game, you do get hurt if you stay in 3D for too long, although eventually there's a way to kind of stop that, but not until much later. We can, of course, now leave that we have this ability and we can flip once again. And again, like I said, there's going to be secrets everywhere to find with this now. They're never going to let us, go 10 seconds without using it. Even if we use it here, I believe there's some stuff. So yeah, it's been quite a while since I played this. And again, I did join in Milesluigi's thing partway through, but some things are still going to be a little bit fuzzy for me, of course. Although, yeah, we're about to take some damage because of that crazy thing. So let's flip back. These are Pal Pills, and they can kind of hurt bad guys if they run into them. And now we can, of course, go into this door, which we could not go into before, because we can flip into 3D, seeing that the kind of, barricade around the door is not as solid as it initially appeared, thus allowing us to proceed on in the level. And as you can probably tell, this is just going to be like, since it's the first level, it's just going to make us use the 3D flipping thing 1,000 times. When you earn enough points, you'll level up, and you'll actually get bonuses for defeating enemies, which is kind of crazy considering, Mario games today. And see, I wanted to totally kick that shell. These Pal Pills are like the worst thing. I've honestly always hated the Pal Pills, even when I originally played the game. Like, I could be getting an epic combo right now, but instead the Pal Pills are the absolute worst thing ever invented. But thankfully, we're totally going to get a Goomba card. So again, instead of, having like Goombario who can examine enemies, the cards are kind of the replacement. And eventually you do get a way, or actually not eventually, like, you're probably going to like buy them right now, but there are ways to kind of capture enemies too. You don't just have to find their cards laying around. Also, this level is obviously trying to be kind of a reference to the original 1-1 of Super Mario Bros. 1, which is pretty cool. I always wish that this kind of whole level theme and the music and all that would have come back later in the game, which I was really saddened by the fact that it didn't. Well, it kind of does, in a way, really later on. I'm not going to say much more about that because it's kind of a spoiler, but again, after this level, it's never seen again, really. And I always thought that was kind of a shame, considering it's really neat with all the equations in the background and all that. And then it's just kind of forgotten about, which I was always kind of saddened by. This guy and kick him. And I'm just going to collect some coins here. And this is kind of the major part right here, where there's this gigantic gap. And how on earth am I supposed to get across this? And you can kind of examine the screen with Tippy. I was like, there's something totally odd about this mountain. It kind of gives away exactly what we're supposed to do. So, I mean, that's no fun, but still, it's just really neat. Like, who would ever thought that you'd flip and then you'd be able to walk on the background? That's pretty cool. This game definitely had some innovative moments. You can only see that Goomba when you're in 3D mode. So, sorry, dude. Like, kind of got to destroy you because that's the way it goes. Pointing at the screen can also help you find invisible blocks, but I don't actually remember where many of them are. We've probably already missed like 7 of them. Like, can we find anything? No, we cannot. Examining enemies with Tippy, it's not like Goombario where like it tells you how much health they have left. I actually don't think there's a way to see how much health enemies have, like Peekaboo from the other Paper Mario games, which is kind of a shame. That would have been really neat to have been able to unlock something like that. I mean, even like Wind Waker had like that mask, I think, that allowed you to see how much health enemies had, and that was pretty cool. But I do not believe that any such item exists in this game. I mean, that would have been an awesome prize for like beating Samurai's Kingdom, or for beating the Pit of 100 Trials, but instead, unfortunately, not nearly as exciting. Press and hold 2 when you're on a jump platform to jump extra high. Although before we do that, we're actually going to go back here and find more of my least favorite item, but I guess, what can you do? So we're going to go up here, and is there actually anything even up here? I guess not. Just totally, why would you even go up there then? If you can just 3D flip and skip it. Although we're actually about to take damage? No, we just barely avoided taking damage. And just like that, we grew a level and our max HP increased by 5. Overall, Super Paper Mario is not an extremely difficult game. Like, there's some tricky parts near the end. And if you're not, paying super close attention, there are times when you might definitely lose some health. And see, this is like, I totally don't want these Palpil guys. So I kind of want to get like an epic combo going on here. So like, let's see, we can do that, and that. That's... Oh, shoot. Okay, just like that. Okay, here we go. Because, of course, every time you jump on an enemy, the points increase. Oh, I tried to do a stylish thing in the air, which totally would have allowed me to get over to those guys, but totally it didn't work for whatever reason. I like how also every time you take damage, your kind of meter at the top left there goes back. That's kind of funny. What's our next level up? 20,000. So, because of all those dudes, we're pretty much already at, like, the next level. And this guy might even help us out with that a little bit. Oh, very close. Very, very close. How do you reach these things? How do you reach these things? Are there any invisible blocks anywhere? You can examine these. It'll tell you that's a brick block. You can break it if it if it makes you feel better. It's interesting, actually. Kind of funny, because I think that in this game, breaking bricks doesn't even give you any points. Where in the original Mario Brothers, breaking a brick would at least give you like 50 points. So, kind of shenanigans on that part. Also, I like how you can totally see underneath the bridge here. It's kind of funny. I mean, you can see how it is a bridge. How normally, in a normal Mario game, it would just look like totally like stairs. It wouldn't be a bridge at all. Man, these guys are just the worst things. Remind me of like the Goombas from Super Mario Bros. 3. Like the big Goomba that kind of like spits out mini Goombas and flies around and tries to kill you. That guy is always totally the worst, because then he gets you and you have trouble jumping, and it's just like, why? Why did this have to happen to me? So we're still like 110 points away from a level up, but we'll be there soon enough. I think that what happened was Nintendo kind of tried to turn the Paper Mario series, and like they started calling it like a platforming game, adventure game, more than actually like considering it an RPG, and left like the portable Mario and Luigi games to being RPGs, which it really is a shame, because I mean I really love the first few Paper Mario games. Look at Mario, he's totally running in place there. Sorry, I totally love like the first few Mario and Luigi games, but I would totally take the Paper Mario style of battling and like badges. Oh, there needed to be badges again. Why must you have taken away my badges? Badges allow for so much creativity. But yeah, I just like it. I totally love that kind of system more than the Mario and Luigi system, despite the fact that the Mario and Luigi system is a lot of fun too. But I mean, now there's just like totally none of that. And even the Mario and Luigi games are, becoming more basic than they used to be, which is totally a shame. This right here is also, of course, kind of a callback to New Super Mario Bros., which was released again a few years earlier, where you had the Mega Mushroom, and now you just kind of got, this mushroom where it becomes totally pixelized, and we can just run over the universe, because why the heck not? It's fun, and that's totally what matters. And, don't be too quick to hit the end of level block, because if you go behind the end, just like in all good games, there's a secret. There's always, every game needs to have that one level where there's a secret if you press left at the beginning, or if you go past the end, there's totally something hidden there. So now we will do double damage to Koopa Troopas, and that is totally okay. So we're going to get that. And with that said, level 1 is complete. And wow, have I really been recording that long already? Maybe we should do one more level. Maybe. Or was that enough? Was that enough? Yeah, a lot of things happen in the next level. So, yeah, I can't believe how long that level actually took. But that should give everybody a good idea about just what kind of craziness happens in Super Paper Mario. I hope that everyone enjoyed that. But actually, what I want to do now is just quickly go and have a little bit of a look at my completed file. So if you don't want anything spoiled, this will be the point where I direct you to Super Mario Luigi's. Maybe someday Milesluigi's channel will grow a level and it will become Super Milesluigi, but I will direct you to Milesluigi's Let's Play of this game, where you can see, the whole thing. He does all the bonus kind of content. I'm even in there later on. Evil Pop-Tart's there. There's hilarious jokes and craziness all over the place. My pizza toilet story is in there if you want to go find that. So I will direct you to that now. There's a link down below, and it'll be in the annotation. But I do actually want to go and have just a little bit of a look at my old file, just to kind of reminisce a little bit about what the Paper Mario series was. Because this was really the last time that we had, again, a Paper Mario game with all this kind of story and all that stuff going on. Which, it really is a shame. I like how they're just, showing right there about the nunchuck, and then tell you to hold it sideways, which, doesn't in any way involve the nunchuck. Kinda silly there, guys. But yeah, let's go to this file right here. Yeah, we were playing for like 15 minutes, and we beat one level. Again, it's such a neat game, but it does start to drag on a little bit. And of course, I would have Dash Shell out. There's nothing better than when you unlock the Dash ability and can just run all over the place. But wow, 120 health. Wow, over 4 million points. Just, oh, I love this game so much. I just loved it. It's just such a good game. It was just so much fun. And again, like, it was different from the previous Paper Mario games, but I acknowledge that. And I've never hated the game for being a little bit different. Like, I love Zelda 2, even though it's not like any of the other Zelda games, you know, except for the CDI ones. But even then, it's of course better than those. And I totally accepted this game, even though it was a bit different, with the hope that the next Paper Mario game would go back to the way that it was previously. Like, it's okay. It was nice to take a break and try something else, but, you know, please make sure you know, go back to the way that everyone loved it, too. But it was such a shame when they didn't do that. Such a shame. But yeah, Paper Mario, it lives here. And, of course, in the previous two Paper Mario games, too, with great characters, great story, and just the humor, and just everything that made us love Paper Mario so much was just like, Nintendo, why? Why do you do this to me? I'm about to go cry before I go to sleep. But in the end, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching again. Cannot recommend Milesluigi's Let's Play enough. And yeah, hope to see you next time for more of Wii Week. Week. Okay, I swear that's not going to become the running thing, but I totally don't know what to call it. But thanks, and see you later. Also, just as kind of a thing to add on to the end of the video is I realized I didn't point it out, and it was something I did kind of want to talk about in regards to Paper Mario. I apologize for all the ranting that I do, but I mean, I guess Paper Mario is just something that I really did hold dear to my heart. And to see Nintendo kind of rip that heart out and cut it up with their scissor attack, you know, from Paper Mario Superstar, it does hurt a little bit. But one thing I kind of did want to point out is in regards to Mario and the Paper Mario series overall, is when you look at the earlier Paper Mario games, it wasn't constantly screaming at you that everything was paper. Like, the first Paper Mario game, it was more of just an aesthetic than anything. I mean, it was called Mario Story in Japan. It wasn't even actually called Paper Mario. So it's not like they really, you know, went over the top emphasizing that everything was made out of paper. In Paper Mario The Thousand-Year Door, you do, of course, you know, get, like, the paper techniques with, like, the airplane and the boat and all that, but still, it wasn't always in your face that everything was made out of paper. I mean, of course, sometimes, you know, things flip forward or folded out, but it wasn't the main emphasis of the game. And again, in Super Paper Mario, I mean, of course, you have the whole, you know, 3D plane thing, which kind of, you know, implies that because it's paper, that's, you know, it's so flat, that can happen, but it's still, it wasn't just shoved in your face constantly that everything was made out of paper. But I feel like these days Nintendo is taking the name of the game way too literally, and like, it doesn't need to be taken that literally, even to the point where for some reason they're leaving the white outline around Mario now, and I don't know why they're doing that, because it doesn't look good at all. Like, I get it, he's made of paper, okay? You don't need to remind me by leaving the white outline around him. Like, Mario looks 10 times better in Thousand-Year Door and in Super Paper Mario than he does in any of the trailers for the new Paper Mario game coming out. And it's just like, okay, we get it. You don't need, like, okay, there's stickers and, you know, you're painting stuff, but why? It's like, just because it's called Paper Mario doesn't mean you need to constantly shove it in our face the entire game that every single thing is made out of paper. And just, like, that just annoys me to no end, because the Paper Mario series was fantastic. I know, Mario, I know I'm boring you, and I apologize, but I guess, again, this is just something I've been wanting to point it out for a while, and I was almost made a video specifically about Color Splash, but I didn't, so I guess just, you know, to talk about it a little bit here. Everyone who's not hardcore Paper Mario fans probably gone anyway, because they didn't want to see the spoilers at the end of the game that I showed from my completed file, but still, it's just, you know, they don't need to keep, you know, shoving it in their face that everything's made out of paper. It's like, we know, but we're not playing it because we care that it's made out of paper. We're playing it because we want a good Mario game, darn it, so just make a good Mario game, and stop thinking that just because it's made out of paper, you need to add in 5 billion gimmicks like fans and scissors, because no one wants that! They want badges, and partners, and good story, and good characters, and funny moments, not friggin' painting the walls!